Hi and Assalamualaikum to Madam Nur binti Makno and everyone that is watching this video. I am Hana Nazifa binti Nazri from Group 6 of Class BA03 and this is our group presentation for the assignment of Financial Accounting and Reporting of a Sole Proprietorship Business. We are focusing on photography service and our business is the Loft Studio. So our group member consists of 4 people. The first one is me, Hana Nazifa binti Nazri, with the student ID of 2025-230-256. The next one is Ailiya Maisara binti Muhammad Azlimi, with the student ID 2025-215-726. The third one is Irdina Ilmuna binti Md Nazri 2025-223-026. And the fourth one is Nur Iffah Sahira binti Jasri, with the student ID of 2025 424 and 812. For starters, I will introduce the background of the business as an introduction. So the name of the business that we are focusing on is the Loft Studio. It is a photography studio and also offers photography service and videography service. The type of business is a sole proprietorship business and it is located at 8A Jalan Plumbum Q7Q, Section 7, 4000 Shah Alam, Selangor. So as you can see, I included the photo of the storefront signage and also the location in the Google Map. For the next slide is talking about the business activity and capital for the Loft Studio. The business activity includes the photography and videography services such as convocation photography, commercial photography, VIP and high-profile collaborations, fashion and beauty photography. And as you can see, I also included the portfolio for the studio that can be seen from their website. The owner's capital are approximately around 15k ringgit Malaysia.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Ailiya Maisara binti Muhammad Azlimi and my metric number is 2025215726. Thank you Hana for the earlier explanation. Before I begin, let me ask you, have you ever wondered how a business is organized, who owns it, and how it's managed its operation behind the scene? Today, we will go through all of the business characteristics of the Loft Studio. In this section, we have 7 key characteristics, which are: first, business registration; second, capital; third, ownership; fourth, management and control; fifth, liability; sixth, profit or loss; and lastly, we have books and account. So let's go through them one by one. Firstly, for business registration, the Loft Studio is officially registered under the Business Registration Act 1957 and is it also registered under the Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia SSM. The business registration number is SA04109538X. This means that the studio is operating as a fully legal and recognized business. Next is capital. The capital for the Loft Studio comes directly from the owner, Puan Farah. She used her own saving and personal asset to start and grow the business. As mentioned by Hana earlier, the owner's capital approximately around 50,000 ringgit Malaysia. Next is ownership. The Loft Studio is owned only by one person, which is Puan Farah Hanani binti Muhammad Rafi. As a sole owner, she has full control over all decision and direction of the business. Then, the management and daily control are also handled by Puan Farah. She manages most of the tasks herself and sometimes she receives support from her husband so they could make sure everything runs smoothly. The next point is liability. Since the Loft Studio is a sole proprietorship, so it carries unlimited liability. This means that if the business fails or cannot pay its debt, then the owner's personal asset, such as the house or the saving, could be used to cover the debt. In other words, there is no separation between the business and the owner. Next is profit or loss. All of the profit earned by the studio belong to Puan Farah. She will receive all the income from the business, but at the same time, if there is any losses or expenses, it must be fully paid by her. Since She is the only one owner, so everything, both profit and loss, will goes directly to her. And lastly, we have books and account. The Loft Studio has no legal obligation to keep formal accounting books or prepare detailed financial reports because it is a sole proprietorship. However, the owner, Puan Farah, she still keep basic financial tracking so that she can track the studio income or expenses more easily. So those are the 7 business characteristics of the law studio. With that, I will now pass back to Hana.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Hana Nazifa binti Nazri, student ID of 2025 230256. Today I'll start with the classification of business item. The first one is the current asset. The first one is cash, which includes the money that the business keeps for daily operations, such as paying small expenses or deposits when it comes to bookings. The next current asset is account receivable. So this happens when the customer postpone their payments, for example, after a photo shoot or event. It is still considered as an asset because the studio will receive the money soon, usually within the same year. For the next slide is the non-current assets, which is the tangible ones. So for long-term assets, the studio owns several tangible items. The first one includes the computer, lenses, and lighting equipment. These are essential tools for editing photos, capturing high-quality shots, and ensuring proper lighting. So all these items last more than a year, so they are treated as non-current assets. The next second category of tangible non-current assets, such as the backdrop, the studio premises, and the furniture. So these items are used repeatedly in photoshoot and also contribute to the overall environment and functionality of the studio. Since they benefit the business over many years, they also fall under the non-current asset. For the last non-current assets, which is the investment. So beside photography equipment, the owner, Kak Farah, also has an investment in kelapa sawit. This is considered as a non-current investment because it generates return in the long term. It doesn't directly relate to the studio's daily operation, but it still increases the owner's financial strength. The next classification of business is liabilities. So for liabilities, the studio has several payments. For example, the rent payables that refers to the monthly payments for the studio space that may not yet be paid. And then the utilities payable covers the outstanding electricity or water bills. Tax payable is the amount owed to the government, and there are also amounts owed to the external manpower such as freelance editors or riders that help with the delivering of photoshoot equipment. So these are short-term obligations that the studio needs to settle. Hence, they are listed under the current liabilities.
Hi, my name is Irdina Ilmuna binti Md Nazri, 2025 223026 from BA272 BA03. And today I will continue our presentation. For the next classification, we have capital. Capital refers to long-term assets that the business invests in to help the business operate and generate income. Based on these pictures, this studio has softbox lights which are essential for controlling lighting during photo shoots. These lights are very important because it improves the quality of videos and photos. The business also has a backdrop setup, including stands and various backdrop sheets. This is used to create different themes and professional background for clients. Next, the studio owns a Nikon film camera, which is part of the main equipment used for photography services. And all these items are considered as capital because they are durable assets that will be used for a long period and are essential to running the business. The next classification is revenue, which refers to the income the business earns from providing services. For example, the studio offers wedding photography, capturing special moments for clients during wedding ceremonies and receptions. They also provide convocation photography services, taking graduation photos and portraits for students. Another revenue sources is commercial photography, such as product shoots or corporate branding. In addition, the studio earns from wedding event photography and wedding event videography, where they document wedding events in both photos and video format. And These services generate money for the Loft Studio and are classified as revenue. The final classification, we have expenses, which are the costs of the business must pay in order for the business to operate. Based on these images, the studio pays rider fees such as Lala Move for delivering items or transporting equipment. There is also the rent of the shop lot, which is a monthly expense required to operate and for the studio space. Additionally, the studio pays utilities bill, including electricity and water. These are necessary for the business to running and maintaining the workspace. All these are considered as expenses because they are recurring payments needed to keep for the business to run. Based on this picture, this is the Loft Studio electricity bill to prove that the studio needs to pay bills to keep the business operate. For this section, I will explain how the Loft Studio records all its business transactions. First one, cash. The Loft Studio uses QR payment where customer can scan the QR code to make payment instantly. They also accept bank transfer directly into the studio's business account. In addition, the studio supports Touch and Go as another form of digital payment. All payments made by customers are recorded digitally. The studio keeps important documents such as receipts and invoice. These records are stored in digital form only, meaning the business does not print any physical copies. To ensure the proper financial management, all financial information is taken from their Maybank business account statement, which is kept separate from the owner's personal bank account. This helps maintain accurate and clean financial records. The next part of the recording process is customer. The Loft Studio uses the Wave app as their main digital platform for managing customers and recording transactions. These include recording customer bookings, tracking booking payment, and monitoring complete and pending invoice. Once a customer makes payment, the transaction is immediately recorded in the Wave system. This helps the business stay organized and ensure all financial data is stored safely in one place. By using Wave also help the studio produce sales report, income summaries, payment histories. This makes it easier for the business to manage finance and prepare for accounting tasks.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Iffah Sahira binti Jasri and my matrix number is 2025424812. I will be presenting and continue what the previous presenter have presented regarding on the recording process of the last one, which is supplier. Basically, the business does not have specific account to purchase their stock, such as a frame for picture and photo album. So the owner will directly be going to the supplier physical store in discussing the details such as price, service cost, and others. When it's confirmed, then they will be discussed further in the WhatsApp for invoice, address to be sent, and how much the business will order. The Loft Studio will use the Lalamu service to send the stock to their place of business and payment will be made on the spot before booking the transport to their business. Therefore, there is no outstanding for payment to the supplier is made, since the owner of the Loft Studio itself will make sure the payment are made right away. Next, I will be explain about the last sections, which is the strength and the weakness each of the recording process, starting with the cash. As we mentioned earlier, the Loft Studio using 100% of digital in their transaction, which is convenience for both parties. These are the benefit of it because digital payments allow user to make transactions anytime and anywhere, eliminating the need for physical cash or checks. This ease of use enhances customer satisfactions and encourage more frequent transactions. The weakness of it is it can trigger cybersecurity risks. Digital payments are susceptible to cyber threats, including hacking and fraud. If a data breach occurs, it can lead to significant financial losses and damage to a business reputation. The second one is customer. Since the Loft Studio is using the Wave application as their main recording process, which also involve in recording their account receivable for customer. These are the strengths and the weakness that we can find. The strength of the Wave application is bank sync and automation. Wave connect directly with a bank account and credit card, automatically importing transaction to reduce manual entry. These features improve accuracy, save times, and provide reliable view of your cash flows. The weakness of it is bank sync and reconciliation issues. Many users report problems with the bank sync, such as a delay updates and mismatched transactions. The last but not least is the strength and the weakness for the supplier. Unlike other recording process, the Loft Studio record and pay the supplier transaction right after their purchasing their stocks and does not have any outstanding payment. This makes them have no account payable in supplier for their stock arrangement. These are the strengths of it. First is the cost efficiency. Direct purchasing eliminates intermediaries, leading to lower costs and saving on markups since the owner itself negotiates with the supplier. The weakness of it is the risk of the damage of goods. The owner uses Salamo service to send the stock from the supplier to them. This will risk the owner since the goods are not managed by them by the other party. So, if there any unexpected accident happens, the loss will be incurred by the owner itself.